All right, I hope you've got Local by Flywheel installed and ready to go. In fact, if you're like me, you've probably already created a website and you've already started clicking buttons and making your own stuff and you don't even need me anymore. But let's go ahead and take a look real quick at some of the preferences. I just want to show you a little bit more about this program to help expedite your workflow. So the first thing I want to show you is your preferences. So come up here to the title, Local by Flywheel, click on Preferences. That's if you're on a Mac. If you're on a PC, I think it's up to Edit down to Preferences. I don't know. I'm sorry. You're kind of on your own if you're on a PC. It's been forever since I've used a PC. Anyway, so in my preferences, we have our new site defaults. So every time you make a new website, this is the information it's going to use and where it's going to save it. So from this environment, what this means is what type of coding language and database versions are you using. Don't even worry about this yet. This is an advanced topic. We're just going to leave it as preferred. And what that's going to do is, as long as your application is up to date, it's going to just configure everything for you by default. So right now we've got this environment defaults. We're using this PHP version and this MySQL version. And again, I would just leave this alone. Don't even worry about it for right now. As you get better, as you get more developer minded, and maybe this won't ever be for you, but you'll be able to custom pick what that looks like. Okay, next, your admin username. Make sure it's not admin. That's the worst thing you could do. It's very easy to get hacked if you put that on your website. So go ahead and take the time to make your username something unique. Maybe even add some numbers and symbols and stuff. Same thing with your password. Take the time to make sure you have a secure password. Go ahead and put in the email address you'd like to use. This comes in handy if you ever forget your password. Once you migrate this, you can have WordPress send the password reset link to your email. So go ahead and put your admin email in there. And then the default sites path. This is just where the files live. So if I browse right now, it puts all of the site files, actually they're going to be under my root folder, under local sites, and then each new website is going to have its own folder that's going to have all of the WordPress files inside of it. So this is just telling it where to save those files. You can put them wherever you want, but wherever you put them, make sure you don't move them after the fact because it can break links and cause lots of other problems. So that's going to be good for now. Go ahead and leave development mode on. Like I said, I'm pretty new to this application, so I haven't even been able to use this enough to know whether on or off is going to make much of a difference. The forums I read basically just said leave it on and forget it. So that's what I'm going to do. We have some other options over here for exporting, advanced, blueprints, and add-ons. Honestly, all this stuff for right now is good to go. This is the main setting I wanted to show you, is these new site defaults. So I'm going to click on this X over here on the top right to close my preferences, and now I'm back into my main local sites window. I can click on the site that we've already created, and we can step through and look at more of these options. These are things that we'll get into again at a later date. Just know that under the database, remember that slide I showed you where we had the first slide that showed the core files, and then I showed the database, and the database is basically the guts of your website. It's the Excel spreadsheet that has all the data inside of it to build your website. Well, clicking here, I can click on Add Minor, and this is my database files. So over here on the top left, I can click Export, and I can export all of my database information. Super simple to do. So this is going to come in handy later when we go to move this and do other things. We also have our SSL and our utilities. We can click on the admin website, or we can actually view the site. Okay, so this is, I know I blitzed through this, but the reason why is because we don't need to worry about this yet. I just want to show you that you can click around in here to kind of see some more features of your website. We can also click on this little arrow right up here, and that's going to pop us right over to our root folder for the website. Okay, this is all good. We're getting up and running. We're getting ready to go here. The last thing I want to show you before we move on is this live link button. This is also huge because in that previous video where I mentioned the pros and cons to a local WordPress build, this is one of the huge cons, is not being able to show clients, especially if your clients aren't in the same city as you. It's difficult to upload the file. First, you've got to export all your database, then you got to upload the core files, and then upload the database and update the links and do a lot of work just to let them see it. And then if there's any changes, you don't want to work on the remote site, you got to pull it back down and just do a lot of work. So what we can do here with this live link button, if I click enable, it gives me a link. So this is on right now on my computer. If you were to go to this link, you could see this website live right now. Now, if you try it, it's not going to work because whenever you probably go to this link, my computer might not be turned on and this app might not be open. So for this to work, your app actually has to be on and running. So right here, it says one site running. It's got the little green next to it. That means the virtual server is running. I can stop it by clicking that stop sign, and it's going to turn off the server and everything else that it needs to run. And what's going to happen, if I come over here to that link and I refresh it, it doesn't work. So this is most likely what you're going to be seeing if you visit that link. However, if you were, let's say you were my client and I wanted to show you, hey, here's the website I'm working on and here's how it's looking, I'd turn that link on. I'd make sure my site was running. So I'll click on that little button right here, the little play button. Now my site has a green circle next to it telling me it's on, the power's on, it's running. And if I refresh this page, now it works. So now I could call my client and we could have, or whether it's a Google Hangout or a Skype call or a phone call or something, and we could walk through the website together and look at the progress. So this is an awesome feature and super easy to do. You could do this with MAMP, and you might have been able to do it with that ServerPress version as well. To be honest, I never really did that with those. So I do remember MAMP was a little more difficult. You couldn't just turn it on like this. So this is a huge game changer for being able to work locally, have the speed while you're developing, but then also have the flexibility to share it as well as the security. So when I disable this, now I don't have to worry about my site getting hacked or anything weird happening to it before I'm ready to turn it on and go live. So very, very cool features here. What I want to do now is just quickly show you. Now, if you wanted to make another site, we've got this one running. I can click this plus button down here in the bottom left and just add another site. Whatever you want it to be. I'll click continue. And again, I'll click continue because I'm not worried about doing any custom configurations. And then this will pull those default options that I set in those preferences. And I'll click add site. So now I've got another site over here. And it's just that easy. It's super cool. Go ahead and take the time to play with it a little bit. And what we're going to do in the next video is actually start exploring WordPress.